Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. It's a little chat. I think I'm going to entitle it a series of unfortunate events and then finish on a high note, because what we're also going to do towards the end of this video is the giveaway for the Roses Forever, which was a giveaway that I launched on my channel just before I went away. So we'll talk briefly about that first. I apologise if you were caught by the scammers that posted in the comments section of that video telling people that they had won and that they needed to click a certain link or do something on something called Telegram to claim their prize. That, as I said, was apparently it's a well-known YouTube scam where they jump onto giveaway videos and do things like that and try and catch people out. I hope none of you got caught by it. As soon as I was aware of it, I was on a cruise ship and with limited internet access, as soon as I became aware of it, I not only got a couple of my fabulous moderators, thank you so much Lainey and Susan, I think Lex got in there as well, to go through and delete as many of those comments as they could as fast as they can, and there were hundreds. They were replying on every comment apparently saying that you'd won this, so they went in through and deleted as fast as they could. There were some very furious fingers going on there. And also I put up a shorts video asking people not to be sucked in by this. Sadly, because of my lack of internet, that shorts video didn't go up until I got back from my cruise, so it's a fat lot of good that was. As I said, I hope you didn't get caught and click on any weird links, and I hope nobody is experiencing any difficulty with that. I did have a couple of emails from people saying, how wonderful that they'd won, but they didn't know how to do it, and I had to reply and say, I'm so sorry, I haven't won, I haven't done it yet. Unfortunate event number one. Unfortunate event number two, we had a lovely holiday, but both Tammy and I were ill during it, so that took some of the shine off the middle of the holiday, and we didn't get very good weather, but it was still better than being at work, as they say. And then we came home on Saturday morning. We got off of the ship. We had taxi service included with the parking that we'd booked. So we hadn't booked direct parking with the cruise company, which you can do. We'd booked through a secondary site called Purple Parking. And it came with a complimentary taxi from the car park to and fro the cruise terminal. So we came out of the cruise terminal and we telephoned and we said, we're ready for our taxi. And they said, we'll be with you within 20 minutes. And we thought, oh, 20 minutes it's a bit chilly to be standing around, but it's only 20 minutes. It was not only 20 minutes, it was an hour before they came. This would have been bearable had it not been for the fact that when we got into the taxi, the driver said, oh, none of the other drivers would come because it's complimentary. None of the other drivers come because there's no fare. Now, it wasn't his fault, obviously. He had come, so we couldn't very well be cross with him, but we weren't best impressed to discover that all the other drivers refused it because there was no fare, because the fare is included in what we had paid to the parking company. You know, it's not like it's not actually free. It's complimentary, so say, but the parking company should have been paying the taxi company and presumably were. So that was a mild irritation. We got back to the car and we were trying to deal with another mild irritation, which I have covered in some depth in a video that's coming out on, I think, Saturday morning. I'm not sure when I'm going to put this video out, and so I don't know if you'll have seen that before you see this, because all of my scheduling is all to pot at the moment. But the long story short is that the wing mirror fell off on the way down. The rear view mirror fell off on the way down to Southampton, and so we knew that when we got back to the car we were going to have to deal with that. So we were dealing with that and not doing very well at it, and we decided we would drive to the nearest Quick Fit and see if they could help. Started the engine, tried to pull out of the car park, and I had no steering. The power steering had gone on a little holiday all of its own. As I put on my Instagram stories, you may have seen that. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't and you want to, I'm at that Carla Jenkins. So yeah, no power steering. That's okay. I know I've got breakdown cover. I got my breakdown cover with my Tesco insurance, so I rang. I had a further complication was that there was very little signal in this car park. Very, very little signal to try and search through my phone. I couldn't search the internet to find the numbers, but I managed to get them. I managed to ring them. And the chap said, oh, no problem. He said, we are very busy today, but I'll get someone out to you. Are you in a safe place? And I said, yes, we're in a car park. We're not stranded at the side of the road or anything. And he said, okay, I'll get someone as soon as possible. And somebody will be with you about 1:30. And then about 1 o'clock, we got a message saying, oh, we're running very late. And I was like, oh dear. But as it happened, they weren't running late. And a lovely man turned up, and he was called Jamie. And he proceeded to try and ascertain what the problem was. And he said, it's definitely something to do with your power steering pump. I think he also said motor for the pump, but I don't know. I'm not technical. I don't know anything about under the bonnet whatsoever. He worked on the car for at least an hour. Tammy and I are freezing all this time, bless him. Worked on the car for at least an hour. At one point, he's literally just hitting under the bonnet with a large tool. And I said, Tammy, do you think he really works for the RAC, or he just drives an orange van and likes hitting things? Couldn't get it going. He said, that's okay. He said, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take you, we're going to have to recover you to Bristol. And I said, okay, that's fine. It sounded quite fun. Tammy and I would get to sit in the RAC van and the car would go on the back or whatever. I said, surely they don't put us in the car and tow us up there. He then comes back to the car and he says, oh, slight snag, you only have roadside recovery. You don't have back to home recovery. Now, I didn't realise I only had roadside because I'd bought it through the car insurance, because it had come through the car insurance. I didn't realise that I no longer had recovery to home. He said, that's okay though, because we'll still recover you. It's just there'll be a small additional fee. That was his exact, was a small additional fee. And I said, okay, all right, that's fine. And he went back to his van and he tapped away on his little iPad or whatever, and he came back and he said, you know, I said small. And I said, yeah. And he said, it's £665. And I said, that's not small and I can't pay that. And he said, no, he said, I wouldn't advise you to pay that. He said, you're better off getting it done here and then you can put that towards the repair. And I should have heard the alarm bells ringing when he said the word towards, but I thought, yeah, 600 quid, I can get the car repaired for that, I'm sure, yeah. So he said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take you to a nearby garage. They have a car that you can rent for £25 a day. So you'll be able to go home. Because in amongst all of this was the fact that we couldn't stay in Southampton because I had to be back the next day for my mum's operation. My mum was due to go into hospital to have her hernia operation, and I had to be back for that, and I had to have a car to do it in. So we'd gone through all the possibilities of could we get on the train. We couldn't get on the train because there was a train strike this weekend. There were no trains, and furthermore, even if I had, I'd have been back in Bristol with no car. I'd gone into, can I rent a car? You can rent cars, but not so easily on a Sunday morning. I need a car Sunday morning to take my mum for her operation. How, you know, and all of this is going on, and in the meantime, you're freezing cold. You're sat in this car park, you're freezing cold. You're at the end of your holiday. You just want to go home. We're at the end of our tethers as well as the end of our holiday. And he said, okay, I'll take you to this nearby garage. They'll have a car you can rent. So that's what we did. Went to this garage, and I said to the chap, have you any idea how much it might cost? And he said, until I phone up and find out how much the part is, and I can't do that till Monday. He said, I don't know. I said, can you give me a, there's no way it will cost more than figure? And he went, not really. And I was like, oh dear. I said, can you give me a, in my experience, sometimes these repairs have cost figure? And he went, 1,200 quid. And I went, oh, that's worse than the 600. Much, much worse. Twice as bad, in fact. They took the car. They lent us a sporty little Corsa. I've come at the moment. I feel like I'm sitting on the ground driving out. I'm like, meh. The seat was so far back when I got in. I thought, somebody been doing something rude in this driving seat. But sporty little Corsa with a go faster stripe down the bonnet. Came home in that, no problem at all. It was a different to drive, but I managed to drive it, no problem whatsoever. And we came home very, very late, much later. We didn't get home until late in the evening, much later than expected, and left the car in Southampton. Got up the next day, next in the series of unfortunate events. Got up the next day, went to the car boot sale, all fine. Now, Mum was due to go into the hospital at 1 o'clock. They told her to come there at 1 o'clock. So Anthony was picking her up from her house because he was going to be on that side of town anyway. And he was going to bring her back to ours, and then I was going to take her to the hospital. So this would enable me to go to the car boot sale. I'm at the car boot sale, and the phone rings, and Mum says, they've just rung and they said, can I go now? Eek! So I rang Anthony. He rushed off to get her. I went home to be there for when she arrived. We did all everything dovetailed fairly smoothly. We got it all right. We got her in the car. We got her to the hospital. Got sorting out the parking, got a suitcase, found the ward for, they don't call it a ward, they call it a gate, because the new Southmead Hospital is like an airport, and they literally call it gate. So we got to the right gate and checked her in and all the rest of it, got into a little cubicle. They did all of the preliminaries, blood pressure, and run all the things and all of this, and had a chat and told her what to expect, and we were there 3 hours. 3 hours we were there, and they were like, okay, we've put you into the gown now. So we got into the gown. She's on the trolley ready to go down. They've come in and they've said it's going to be 5 minutes, Mrs. Jenkins, and then you're going to go down. We've been there 3 hours at this point. I had no idea just getting someone ready to go down took so long. Anyway, the anaesthetist then comes in. He said, I just want to check what medication you're on. And she reels off this... And he said, that one. He said, you haven't taken that today, have you? And she said, yes, I've taken all of them today. She said, I rang up, this is my mum, she said, I rang the hospital in the week to check whether I should go ahead and take my medication. They told me to take everything as normal, so I've taken all of it this morning. He said, that one's a blood thinner. They don't pop you on the operating table if you've taken blood thinners in case your blood runs freely all over the operating room floor until you're empty. They don't do that. So he said, I'm not sure. He said, I think there might be a problem. Off he went. He came back mob-handed. He came back he brought the surgeon back, and he also brought the patient liaison coordinator back, the nice lady. And they said, we're really sorry, Mrs. Jenkins, you're not going to be able to have your operation. I thought Mum was going to break down. I thought she was going to break down. She was so upset. Because my mum's an anxious person. She's an anxious person, and she had worried herself about this, and she'd got herself quite taut and quite tangled up before she'd got there, and then she'd finally got there, and it was the point of no return, and then you are returning. So she was really, really quite upset. She dealt with it quite bravely. And we got dressed again, and we came away, and we came home. And then I got up yesterday morning, and the man from the garage rang, and he said, bad news, I'm afraid. We found the part, but it is quite expensive. The repair's going to be £1,200. £1,100. £1,100. And I remember thinking, oh, at least I save £100 on that awful quote. What can you do? You say, okay, please go ahead and do that. That's fine. And he says, okay, we'll order the part. The part's going to come in tomorrow morning. We'll do the work tomorrow. You'll be able to pick up the car tomorrow evening. I said, I won't be able to pick up the car tomorrow evening because I'll be at work. I'll come Wednesday morning. I made arrangements with Anthony, and I talked about, and I've done all of my arrangements and all the rest of it. And then today, he's rung again, and he said, I've got bad news, I'm afraid. I'm like, you can't have any more bad news. You've used up your quota. And he said, no, I have. He said, the part arrived. It's not the right part. And furthermore, we don't seem to be able to find anyone who's got the right part. We're waiting for Vauxhall to get back to us. They're ringing all around the country to see if anybody's got one, and we don't know if we'll be able to get one. So that's where we are now. That's where we are now. We don't know whether we can have a part. If we can't have a part, then we have to get the car back from Southampton. I have to take their hire car back because I can't carry on keeping it at 25 quid a day indefinitely. That has to go back. I have to get my car back. It is drivable, but it's not easy with no power steering, as you can imagine. So Anthony said he'll drive it back. You need muscles on your muscles. I had to follow the RAC man from the car park to the garage driving it. And I felt like I'd carried it there in a backpack by the time I got there. My arms, I said to Tammy, I really must never, ever skip arm day at the gym, ever. Apparently I don't have any shoulder muscles. So if necessary, Anthony will come down with me and he'll bring the car back. And I don't know where we'll go from there because I'll still be without a car. Mum's op has now been rescheduled for the 10th, so we've got about 10 days to worry about that in. I may have to hire another car, but even that's more money, isn't it? More money, more money, more money. It is a series of unfortunate events. My holiday seems like a lifetime ago, and I do not feel remotely relaxed. I did, however, whilst I was away, a couple of beautiful parcels arrived, and so I thought I'd share with you the contents. This one is from Stephen Stall 69, and he sent it hoping it would get here in time for the cruise. Unfortunately, he missed us by about 2 days, apparently. So he's put, I'm having a clear out. I'm not great at names, but I think you're about to go with your friend that likes Harry Potter and has a birthday soon. It was Tammy and right on both counts. Anyway, here is some Harry Potter stuff. If nothing else, you can play the card game on your cruise if all the contents are there, that is. Have a great time. Love, Stephen. So he sent a fabulous Scrabble Lexicon, Lexigo I think it's called. Lexicon Go Harry Potter. And he's also sent the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on cassette. And a little Harry Potter purse. And inside the Harry Potter purse, I think does it come, it folds out, there's a shopping bag. So thank you so much, Stephen, for that. It didn't get here in time for the cruise, but I am seeing Tammy this afternoon, and I know she'll be chuffed to bits. So I'll pass on that lovely gift. She'll be pleased to bits, and maybe we'll play Lexicon Go or whatever it's called this afternoon. Thank you. And then this other one arrived. This is from a lady called Kathleen. And she messaged me today to say, yesterday to say had it arrived. And I said, I'm so glad you've messaged because, try not to knock the camera, because in her card she didn't put her surname. And although she'd messaged me before and say she was sending it, I couldn't remember her surname, so I couldn't find her message to thank her. So she messaged me said it had arrived, and I was like, thank goodness it has, yeah. She said, I've sent these, it's up to you if you keep them or sell them on your shop. I bought them about 4 years ago and a garden shop was closing. I paid £4.25 each, but they'd been on sale for about £40 each. As I said, I'm reluctant to donate to charities near me as I've been refused on a number of occasions. I don't have a problem sending to you. I love your programme. It's real life, Carla. Warts and all. It certainly is. And you include the dogs as well. I don't have the room to display my Christmas stuff, so I've had to sort out. I hope you like them. Best wishes, Kathleen. And she has sent me these Look at this. Stunning Christmas ornaments. This one takes batteries, and there are batteries in there, but I don't know if it's... Oh, I need to unscrew that and sort the batteries out, so I can't turn that one on for you. But I presume that the ice skaters probably turn around on their ice, and I don't think that one moves. But isn't that beautiful? And there'll be lights on it as well. When you turn it on, there'll be lights and stuff. So I didn't think this through. I don't have space to put things down. She's also sent me Marmite salt and pepper pots. They're great fun, aren't they? And oh, there's some more batteries in here. So the batteries that are in the bottom of the box, I think must be for this one. There we go. 2 beautiful Christmas village scenes. I think they're lovely. Mum would really like those as well. I may see if Mum would like to enjoy them this Christmas at least before we do anything else with them. So thank you so much for those, Kathleen. I really appreciate... Oh, let me just save the batteries out of the box before I lose them. I really appreciate you sending me those. I'm sorry I didn't message you straight away to thank you, but as I said, I couldn't remember your surname, but I've done that now anyway. She knows that I'm grateful and that I've received them safely now. It is time to do the giveaway, but before I do it, let's remind you what you're in the giveaway for. These are the stunning Roses Forever that were sent to me. They were gifted to me, and I said that I would gift them to one of you guys because I simply do not have a displaying lovely things kind of home. So this is the gorgeous Rose Forever box, and they smell amazing as soon as you take the lid off. As soon as you take the lid off, the smell is gorgeous. There we go. These are real roses that have been preserved and coloured, and they're packaged, and they just smell divine. So this is what we are drawing for. I'm going to turn you to face the screen. Now I've turned you and I've zoomed you in, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing on the screen here. So here, where my cursor is now, this is the link to the video in which I asked you to enter the giveaway, and all you had to do to be part of the giveaway was to use the phrase Roses Forever in your comments. So I've taken out duplicate users so that nobody gets 4 or 5 entries, not that anybody tried anyway. I've put includes replies to comments because sometimes people reply to somebody else's comment instead of doing one of their own. And I've filtered the comments based on specific text, which is Roses Forever. This is the phrase I asked you to use. And then if I click Get YouTube Comments, it will tell me here how many there are. There are 245 comments that use the phrase Roses Forever. So there's 245 entrants in the draw. And when I click here, let me just turn the, there we go, sorry. When I click here where it says start, it will generate a random comment, and that person will be the winner of my giveaway. What I'd like that person to do is message me on my email address, which is carlajenkinsbiz@outlook.com. I'm going to put that across the middle of the screen, and I'll leave that on the screen for the rest of the video. carlajenkinsbiz@outlook.com. If you can email me there to give me your details, I will then get this out to you, and you will have it as soon as the parcel company can get it to you. Let's do it. Let's press the start button. Ready? Go. It is Anita Grant. Her comment was, Roses Forever. Thank you, Carla. Have a wonderful holiday. Your vlog of your trip to Swansea was my favourite video ever. Please do more if you can. It was funny and entertaining. Nat is a sweetheart. Nat is quite a sweetheart, really. Anita Grant, you are the winner. Let me turn the camera back round. Oh, it's a bit zoomed in, isn't it? Oh! Nobody needs me in that much close-up. Anita, you've won these beautiful roses. I'm going to put the lid back on to preserve the smell. I don't know how long the smell will last, but the roses, as the name implies, will last forever. Drop me an email and I'll get them out to you as soon as I'm able. All that remains is for me to say thank you to you guys for sitting, watching this, listening to me ramble on, listening to me complain about all the things that went wrong. We did have a nice holiday, despite the little quibbles. I'm trying to put the bag back on. Despite the little quibbles, we did have a lovely holiday. It was nice to be away. We saw some lovely places, and we met some lovely people, which is one of the huge highlights of being on a cruise, is you meet some lovely, lovely people. Thank you for joining me for today's video. You're all lovely people as well, by the way, just in case you didn't know. I will be back soon with more of whatever it is I do here. Take care. Bye for now.